What are we talking about?
Castlevania Season 3.
Castlevania Season 3. I loved Castlevania Season 3.
I know you did.
Completely fucking removed from the rest of the goddamn series, but that's okay.
Very removed.
I felt it was definitely the best paced of the 3 seasons.
Yeah, I'll give it that. I liked Isaac's story the most.
Oh, I loved what they did with each of the individual characters, and everything seemed like it was given the appropriate amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Remember in Season 2 where it's just like, we were like, hey, this is great how we have these character bonding moments with the 3 main characters in the fucking basement, like in the library of the Belmonts. And then there was just that episode that we were like, are they ever going to leave this library?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't get that feeling this season.
Nah, there's just a lot of like, Camilla's just like, well, I can fucking do nothing here. Gotta build an army.
Well, at the same time, though, the fact that she goes home and she, we introduced to her land and her generals and all the new characters that we meet, and the amount of time that they spend with those new characters and their dynamics, I thought it was much, much improved. Like, they clearly hit their groove.
Are we supposed to be talking about Van Helsing?
Oh, the Castlevania movie! My mistake! I thought we were talking about Castlevania, the Netflix series.
So yeah, when we first saw this back in 2004, we thought this was the perfect Castlevania, and for the longest time we thought it was all we were going to get for a Castlevania movie.
More or less.
So, after some time, we finally got a Dracula Untold, which is basically Lords of Shadow, the movie. Then we have the Castlevania Netflix series, which is greenlit for its 4th season, so it's still going strong.
Good.
But where it all began was a movie starring Hugh Jackman and Kate Beckinsale.
Huge jacked man.
Hugh Jackman!
Not to be confused with the huge Yak Man.
Ah, alrighty then.
I've never met him.
But yes, this is Van Helsing. Cheesy goodness all around. So this was your first viewing.
I just watched it for the first time probably last week. So I didn't get to see the phenomenal graphics of 2004 and 2004 when it would have been mind-blowing. I got to see them when I was like, what is that?
I didn't see it in theaters, but I bought it as soon as it was on DVD. And I really enjoyed it.
I don't think I saw it in theaters either.
No?
No. Because I didn't see the Mummy movies either in theaters. Either one of them.
Mm-mm. I saw The Scorpion King in theaters.
Oh, you poor soul.
The first one!
Hold on. So you think, as a first-time viewing, that the CGI was, what is that? PS2 era graphics.
Oh, have you seen The Mummy Returns?
You have
not since I've watched it the first time.
You have not seen The Scorpion King.
Where, I thought the graphics were decent in Van Helsing for the time frame, but I definitely think it's a product of its time.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
Looking back on it this most recent time, I remember just when I was younger, distinctly thinking, this was a grand, epic movie, just really awesome. But looking at it now, I'm just like, oh, wow, this is a really ugly movie.
Yeah. And that's the first thing I said after the movie ended. If we did it today with today's graphics and, the actually going to location filming, I think it'd be phenomenal.
The graphics never bothered me, and as cheesy as it is, it's the characters written and the story that needs the most work here.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if they're going to revamp it. Sure, it's a given, you're going to revamp the visuals, but you need to do some hard work on that storytelling with
Have
this
you
one.
played the new Trials of Mana?
No,
2020?
I have not.
Okay, well, there are 2 characters in there that I'm slightly obsessed with. Ben and Bill. Okay, and they talk like this, and that's this movie. That's the vampires. They're just always moving in such weird, unnatural
Very
ways.
expressive.
That it's almost distracting to me. That if Dracula is talking to someone and the brides are in the background, I'm just watching them because they are so distracting. Because they are always moving and weeping, and I'm just like...
Well, I think that does kind of hit the head on one of the biggest problems with the movie, and that's that nobody, with the exception of Hugh Jackman, is giving a good performance. At all. Everybody is doing a really bad job.
It almost looked like this was Hugh Jackman's project and he was taking it really seriously, but he asked his friends to help, and they're all just let's mess with them.
That was called The Greatest Showman.
I thought that was called The Purple Avenger.
Whoa! No.
Struck a chord. But that's the idea is like he's taking it really seriously, but everyone else is just kind of like,
and
let's just have some fun.
it is a little weird because on one hand, I don't think the movie would work without that fun though. Just everybody taking it in stride, because it is just supposed to be a fun, dumb action movie that pays that homage to those old classic 30 Universal.
That's why you have so many of them. That's why you have Dracula funding for Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah. I did really like that they had little pieces of everything in. Like you said, Dracula funding Dr. Frankenstein. Yeah. At the very beginning, Van Helsing is hunting Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
So I do think that there was a really interesting dynamic of like the classic monster flicks. I thought that was interesting. But
one thing I think is great no matter the first time I watched it, when I recently watched it, is the score by Alan Silvestri. The music in this movie is phenomenal.
The score is phenomenal. It really does help elevate a lot of the, the action beats, and then the more emotional moments. Like I think they have this really nice like string instrumental for Anna's character.
Yes.
That it's a really sweet leitmotif that goes on for her character that keeps coming back and back, and so that as the story goes on, when you hear the variations of that tune, it does help you get more emotionally invested with those characters.
Yeah, and as a counterpoint, Van Helsing's theme just gets you pumped. You hear it and it's like, brum, dum, 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 dum.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It does get you real excited.
You're like ready to go and, all right, what's the next adventure for the great Van Helsing?
And not the, how to say this? If you were to take all the dialogue out of the movie and treat it like an old school silent film and just play the score over top of everything and just, you figure out what they're saying. I don't care. Put subtitles on, make up your own dialogue. Like, I think it might be almost a better movie.
There is a channel on YouTube that has the entire movie to sound clips and music from the Castlevania games.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's like dialogue from like Symphony of the Night, Lament of Innocence, sound effects from Castlevania 4. It's surprisingly very accurate. This person did a lot of work.
I would like to see that. If only
that is
because
excellent.
Only because all we thought about when we were younger was the Castlevania. It felt like Castlevania, even though Castlevania is a big universal monster.
Mishmash.
Spit it out.
Circle jerk.
Very well.
I'm sorry, it's the first time on the channel. I don't know how rude I can be.
You bring your own amount of crudeness, Phil.
So of all the characters, your favorite, the one that was holding the glue together, for you was Hugh Jackman, but for you...
It was definitely Carl.
Was Carl the Friar.
I loved Hugh Jackman. I thought that he was the only one that did, what I would expect from a Van Helsing movie, where he had the emotional ties, he had, just a really good general performance with wanting to find his memories and things like that. Yeah. But Carl is the only one who I feel his reactions to things was very natural. Like, something would happen and he wasn't like, yeah, okay, I accept that. He'd be like, no! So, and I very much appreciate when a movie can do that with a character.
Yeah.
Well, you need your comic relief.
Yeah.
Especially when you have balls to the wall action like this movie does.
This movie does have a lot of action set pieces.
You need somebody who can break that up with just a well-timed, not necessarily a well-timed joke, just so much as a well-timed reaction, a well-timed gag, just something to break some of the levity.
I feel like he was the character that, if this was happening in a serious world and they plucked someone from the normal world just into that setting, that's how they would naturally behave. Like, when he's running from the guy with, the taser, I think it was Igor had the taser.
Yep. Yeah.
And, he wasn't just, hoofing it, super serious. He was like, oh, God, oh, God. He was genuinely, showing how a person would react in that situation. So, and I just thought it was funny against, the darkness of everything around him.
His character definitely has some good timing.
Yeah.
I'll say that much.
Absolutely.
Definitely some good timing.
Yeah. He was probably my favorite. I was very excited to see what was going to happen next with him, since he was forced to go to Transylvania. He didn't even want to go.
No.
I don't want to go.
Hugh Jackman is, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect specimen of a man. But you need somebody to play off him, because you can't just have just that lone guy.
Yeah.
going back to old classic westerns. The lone gunfighter was never really a lone gunfighter. He
No, it was always the side.
he always had the posse.
Yes, he did.
You know,
Just posse magnet.
yeah. I mean, the story, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You got to remember, there's also the bad and the ugly.
Yes.
In that story. You know, he has people to play off of.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
Hugh Jackman as Van Helsing, he needs that because otherwise you just have this very stoic character that
Yeah.
would have to play off of Kate Beckinsale. God bless her soul.
I love Kate Beckinsale, but this is not one of her best.
Oh, I
Like
love Kate
accents.
If
were
you
just
really want to see her
distracting.
prime
Yeah.
in this material, watch the Underworld movies.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
Those
Yeah,
are much better.
She does such a good job. Even by the time they get to like the 5th movie, and everybody has just clearly stopped caring
Just
so
clocked
hard.
out.
Oh, I
She-
haven't watched that far.
Oh my God!
I've
she
seen the first 3.
still does such a good job. Like I can tell,
Good
just
for
like
her.
she is still like. You can tell, like I am done with this series. But by God, I'm gonna put my heart into this character. Like I give her mad props. I think she's a really good actress. But she cannot act her way through her accent in this
Yeah.
movie. Nobody can act through their accent in this movie.
No.
It is so clearly they did not have any vocal coach whatsoever, and it hurts everybody's performance.
I feel like they should have just done what
Except for
every
Hugh
other
Jackman,
movie.
who doesn't have an accent.
Hugh Jackman
Well,
does
he
have an accent because
He speaks
he's
with-
Australian.
Yeah, he speaks with an American accent. And that's what I was saying. Like, I don't understand why they didn't just give everyone the universal, either like to show that Hugh Jackman and, well, Van Helsing and Carl, that they're from a different place, have them speak with the American accent, and then give everyone else a British accent. It's the easiest to
Probably the best.
understand. It's the easiest for people to fake if they don't naturally speak with that accent. Why would you give someone an Eastern European accent and just be like, go forth?
Here's the script.
Come on, bud.
Wesker, here's the script. Give me your best Dracula.
One, two.
It's a shame because the guy who plays Dracula, he has his moments where like he can really do it, and then he just has the other moments where it's just like, he's chewing the script.
Well, you know what, though? Again, this kind of goes back to the fact that this movie isn't supposed to be taken that serious.
That is true.
So the fact that he is chewing that scenery, on one hand, like, I am a little conflicted because, again, it's not a fantastic performance. But again, you just got to relish the fact that he's having so much fun with it.
Yeah, he's like the guy who plays Dracula in Symphony of the Night. He's a goofball, but he is hamming it up like no
loving
tomorrow.
it. He's
And
loving
people
it.
love
And
the original Dracula in Symphony of the Night more than the redubs,
Yeah.
which are played more seriously.
See, I
So-
feel like my issue with Dracula in this movie is the consistency of his energy. So it's like...
Well, the moon's all over the place. When the plot wants it, the full moon's there.
I know! Like, they just had a full moon whenever... William? Velkin?
Falcon.
When Velkin turns, there's a full moon, and then it's like, he scratches Van Helsing, and then he's like, in 2 days, the full moon is upon us! And I'm like, what?
Haven't you watched any old classic Universal monster movie?
Oh, of course I have. It's always...
Eastern Europe has a full moon most nights.
It's just so funny because, like, I looked at you and I was like, wait a minute, how much time has
know.
passed?
I
Like,
know.
because I know that there's a passing of time, but it's unclear. Like, they don't specify the passing of time,
Correct.
and it's just all of a sudden there's another full moon. and
Well,
I'm like,
at the same time,
wait a
though,
minute.
that land is clearly cursed. Maybe
Yeah.
Dracula makes it a full moon.
it's just like another full moon tonight.
Because
But werewolves.
That's Castlevania.
Did you know that werewolves actually spawn from little rivers and moats? That poor werewolf was just in the river so much. Just every time they showed him, he's falling into the river. And I'm just like, that poor.
They're like, and then the werewolf appears. But how do I get rid of him to move on to
Just
the next
throw him in the water.
set piece? Throw it in the water.
And then
Right.
the part where...
why does it smell like wet dog in here?
Aww.
To bring it back to a Carl quote.
He is such a fantastic character.
So to sum up with final thoughts, though it hasn't aged the best, it still holds a special place in my heart as like the Castlevania movie, the cheesy, universal love letter, fun romp with Hugh Jackman.
Being a
Yeah.
big fan of the old Universal monster movies and understanding their general camp, the camp that kind of comes just
Yeah.
from that era of
Yeah.
films in general, you know, I can appreciate that a lot, and the fact that, you know, this movie being in the vein of those classic, you know, action serials almost, like, like how Stephen Sommers did the Mummy movies.
Yes.
That it still holds a very special place in my heart too, despite the fact that it is not really that good of a movie.
No, it's not.
It is a very big corny fest.
So for someone who did not grow up
Now-
with this movie,
Yeah,
and doesn't have that attachment,
without the
what would your
nostalgia-
thoughts be?
I hope she says it holds a special place in her heart.
It holds a special place in my left kidney. And it's not terrible. It really isn't. It's definitely like the standard monster flick. You can't take it too seriously, and I think that was my problem going in, like seeing the cover, seeing the actors and everything. I was like, this is gonna be like a serious and then those brides came on, and I was like,
you see Hugh Jackman, and
I love Hugh Jackman. Okay.
I can almost dance to the beat of your heart.
But it's not a terrible movie if you don't go into it thinking that it's going to be a serious film.
Alright.
Have fun with it and watch it with a light heart. And it's definitely a fun movie to
Don't
watch.
go in with expectations.
Yeah.
Go in to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
Because despite what some people say, movies can be fun.
yeah.
you can turn off your brain and just enjoy your popcorn and your pop.
There you go.
So there we go. And because you're our first guest, let's tell you about our rating system.
Oh,
So we have a 5-star rating system.
Yes.
For 5 stars, that is part of the family. 4 stars, that is
That is sleep at the foot of the bed.
sleep at the foot of the bed.
3
3
stars.
stars is take it for a walk. 2
Take it
stars,
to the shelter.
take it to the shelter.
1
1
star.
star, put it down.
We gotta put it down.
Take it out back.
Old Yeller
Take it out
style.
back, old Yeller. So for me personally, I would give this a 3-star take it for a walk movie. What do you think?
I would take it for a walk.
How do you feel about Van Helsing?
I would let it sleep at
At the foot of the
foot
bed.
of the bed.
Now I just pictured the
There
guy
you go.
who plays Dracula just at the foot of your bed. Just,
Okay, take it out back. Put it down.
Thank you so much for watching our Van Helsing review because this is the anniversary of Van Helsing.
Yes.
The movie was out today in 2004.
Today?
Yeah.
When we released the video.
Well, I got that, but I was
Yes.
playing along with it because I didn't know, Warren.
Thank you so much for watching, Puppers. We'll see you guys at the next review. And if you want to see more thrill,
Don't look for
Let us
me.
know.
Don't look for me. I won't be here.
ever waited for a JonTron video?
That's probably... Come back next time to hear my views on Star Wars Episode 9, Rise of Skywalkers. We'll have a real long talk then. Ever seen a grown man cry?